I'm Joel Crandall, and I'm the owner and creator of the Voila Method. And today I want to talk to you guys about failure and what does failure mean. And I'm going to keep this in the context of like personal training, because I just feel like there's so much misinformation out there in the personal training world of what does failure actually mean and what does it do. Since most people are stuck in the muscle world or their muscle mindset, we'll say, they think that training to failure means training the body to push as hard as it can until it can't do anymore. That's okay to a certain extent, a certain point, because what you're doing there is you're training the muscle to, work past what its limits are, which is occasionally okay. But if you do that constantly, it's going to be something that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So stay tuned for that. In my mind, especially as I'm getting older and, I can still almost do not near as much weight as I used to be able to do, and it takes me a lot longer to recover due to my age, but I can still, do most of what I used to be able to do. But I train differently now. I don't train to that muscular failure. I'm going to tell you why, again, a little bit later, to tell if your nervous system is being taxed or overtaxed, I should say. Your mouth will drop open. So when I'm training clients, which I've gotten back into doing, I'm really enjoying open. Sets open, set is over. Why do I do that? Well, I do that because once the nervous system gets overstimulated, your form is going to go downhill. So now you're not getting good quality reps. And now you start to train the body incorrectly. You start to train and incorporate in poor motor movement. We really don't want to do that, especially with beginning athletes. Your Olympic athletes, which we're going to see in a couple of weeks, maybe. They have to push themselves. But there's also this training curve. You can't train at the peak all the time. You have to work up to your peak. And once you hit your peak, you come back down and you train at a lower level. You don't stay at that high peak. But that's what a lot of trainers are trying to do to their clients, is push them to the peak, push them to the peak, push them to the peak. And then this is what happens. The client stops showing up. They start missing appointments, and they get what's called burnout. This is what's happening when you keep pushing to muscular failure. You're creating burnout in your client. If you train to nervous system failure, and as soon as that nervous system now can no longer control that weight in a manner that is efficient, then the set's over. You won't get this with your clients. Your clients will be able to last longer. They will stay with you longer. But if you keep pushing them to the edge, pushing them to the edge, pushing them to the edge, you're going to have that client for about 3 months. They're going to go off, and they're going to either find another trainer or they're going to give up working out. And this is why the fitness industry is failing. So many trainers now, they want to develop programs on the computer and send it to the client. And it's like, oh, look at what a great trainer I am. I can develop these programs. And I'm telling you, that's just bullshit. What I enjoy about being a trainer is a client, you say you have the greatest leg workout designed, and then your client comes in the door and they kick the chair accidentally on the way out the door and stub their toe. Well, there goes that leg workout. So you have to be on your feet and you have to be able to think, what can we do differently? What can we do? And this is where Voila comes in really handy, because I'm able to address that toe so we can still do a workout or whatever inefficient movement happens to come up, I can use voila to get that movement back efficiently. So just one of the things to think about is overstressing your client muscularly, blah, blah. You know what I'm trying to say. My tongue won't say it today, but you've already surpassed the nervous system failure when you've gone into muscular failure. So you're actually killing two birds with one stone, but not in a good way. So just think about that, because you're overstressing your client. And a lot of times they come in overstressed anyway, you know, from a bad day at work or being in traffic, whatever it happens to be. But if they come in overstressed, that's, you know, not a bad time to, you can overstress them for a few sets muscularly, and then boom, back off to training to a muscular failure. So just, I wanted to use how I in Voila method and just in training in general, especially as I've aged and learning a lot about myself and training myself and in training others, is the benefits and the gains that the client actually gets from training them to nervous system failure, or just before that nervous system's failure. So as a trainer, you got to really be paying attention. You got to really listen and watch the movement, because so many trainers are like, they're all off somewhere, or they're too busy counting. They're not watching the movement. And as soon as you see a hiccup in the movement, you end it. You're done, because now you're going to start training in improper, poor, inefficient movement. And that's not what we want. We want our clients to be successful. As a young trainer, many years ago, I had this kind of a lackadaisical, easygoing guy, and I was a trainer, and boom, we're going to hit this hard, and we're going to blah, 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 blah. He lost no weight. So I went, all right, well, let's change things up here a little bit. Slowed things way down. We would talk and have fun in between sets, just really enjoyed ourselves. And I didn't push him to muscular failure. Weight started dropping off of him like crazy. It was just magical to watch how his body responded to not being pushed to muscular failure, just being taken to a place of enjoying working out. Makes a huge difference. So give it a try. See if it works for you. Like I said, training up muscular failure, it's good for like 1 or 2 sets, but then you also have to train the body through to the nervous system. All right? Because what's happening is you keep training, again, just boom, 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 boom. But now you got to train the other side of it, because you're putting them in that fight or flight response. And this is why sometimes after a real hard workout, you can't sleep very well. That's part of overtraining. It's one of the symptoms of overtraining, is not being able to sleep very well. And the reason is you're constantly getting them in that fight or flight response. You also now have to train how to not be in that fight or flight response, but still be able to produce and move a load, right? So just something to think about, and hope you enjoy this. Give it a try.